right, everybody. My name is Kristen Binford. I am a wedding venue owner myself and have served as a business coach to venue owners all over the world. And I am bringing you a new series of venue owners that I've talked to in the past, and we're getting an update on where are they now. So I'm super excited to have someone who is here with me today. Welcome to my friend Angela. Would you like to say hello and introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Angela Dodd, and I own Magnolia Wedding Ranch. We're in Central Texas.
Awesome. So guys, this is going to be a really fun interview. I encourage you to hang tight for all of it. I just learned something I didn't know just right before we went on camera here today. So there's my teaser. Stay tuned because there's going to be some really good stuff in this interview today. So, okay. So Angela, question for you. When did you get started in this business? Will you give us just some background on kind of you and also how and when you got started in the wedding industry?
Yeah, so it actually started as a dream of mine, probably back in, I can't even keep track of the years now. They just fly by so quickly. It's probably been almost a decade ago now. It was actually a dream of mine. My family and I all got together. We were going to start a wedding venue from the ground up. It was going to involve my brother, my sister-in-law, my mom, my dad, my grandfather. We were going to run it. We were going to build it. And it was just going to be a family run and owned business. And then long story short, my mom had some medical complications. My brother ended up getting married and it just wasn't the right time for our family. So we put the dream aside. I was working in healthcare at the time. So we put the dream aside. I never, we all know Pinterest. I never deleted my Pinterest board. So I still had the wedding venue Pinterest board up and running and pinned stuff to it a lot. And then fast forward to 2019, I had met the man who is now my husband. And he had a 10-acre property that had a ranch home on it. And we were going to get married and we were going to sell the property. And my dad asked me one day, we were doing our own wedding planning and he was at our having lunch with us. And he said, hey, how about we turn your ranch into a wedding venue? And I had never looked at the property that way before. So we kind of walked out to the property that same day with different eyes. We looked at it as a business instead of as a home. And by the end of that weekend, we had applied for our LLC. That was in June of 2019. So by the end of that weekend, we had applied for our LLC and we did our first wedding on that property in October of 2019.
So I love it because one of the things that I always ask folks before we work together is, can you be decisive? Because I think you have to be able to make decisions in this business to make progress. And so many people stay stuck. And I just want to shine a light on you are incredibly decisive. We're going to sell the house and all of a sudden we've got an LLC by the end of the weekend and we're going to do this. That's awesome.
Yes, I've been known to jump in with both feet for sure.
I love it. I think that's probably why we get along so well.
Yeah.
So I think we met, I looked it up because I can't believe it's already been this long, but in December of 2019. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I can't believe it's been that long either.
I think 2020 and having a baby for me just makes all the years kind of tangled together. So tell me about where your business was at in 2019 when we met.
So 2019 was a little bit scary for us, for sure. Of course, at that point, like I said, had always been a dream of ours to start the wedding venue. And at that point, nobody else in our family was at a point in their lives where they could jump in with both feet with us. So it was going to be just my husband and I starting this new whole thing. And neither of us knew anything about what we were doing. We did a ton of research and I'm always the person who's looking for new things and reading and researching. So I had done all of the book research and, searching online and all of that kind of stuff. But it was still a little scary. I had no idea how to market or run a business from that standpoint. I had a background in healthcare management, but, not running my own business. And so we, started advertising really once we started building our reception hall. We started advertising on Facebook and Google the best I knew how, which was not very great at that time. And then by the time I found you, we were in panic mode. We were thinking we've done something wrong. We don't know what we're doing. I believe I may have had 3 or 4 weddings on the books when I made that first phone call to you. And we were at a point where we were going, did we do the right thing? And can we make this work?
Wow. So let's fast forward just a little bit. So one of the reasons why we're talking today is because we did this interview, gosh, not quite 2 years ago now, right? And how much progress you made in such a short amount of time. So, what were your kind of original goals? Do you remember back early in the business?
Yeah, for sure. And it's crazy to even think about this now, to look at where we are versus where we thought we would be. Our original goal was we were hoping for 15 weddings a year. We just wanted something to provide a little bit of extra income and pay the bills at basically our second home property, and just to have a little bit of fun. And so 15 a year is where we were shooting for, hoping to be.
And in that short amount of time, I look back on the video, I think you had already booked 46 weddings or had 46 weddings on the book. So your original goal was 15, you're at 46. And just tell me about the, for anybody new who is listening and missed this last time, you're gonna have to go back because the last interview was great too. But tell me about where a yellow Corvette comes into the story here.
Yeah, so that same Christmas, I believe it was right before we started our classes with you. We had gone on a mini vacation. My husband and I, we were stressed out. We had just gotten done with all of the new build out on the venue, and so we needed some time away. So we went on a Christmas vacation, and my husband and I were joking around one night, and he made the joke that when we booked 100 weddings, he would buy me a yellow Corvette. And it's so funny because in his mind, he thought, 6-7 years later, we'd be at that point where we had booked our 100th wedding. We're talking 15 a year. So it was going to take a while to get to that point.
So you had 3 or 4 on the books. James says, all right, when we get to 100, I'm buying you a yellow Corvette, right? And then how long did it actually take you to book your 100th wedding?
We booked our 100th wedding in the summer of last year.
That's amazing. So in what, a little over a year instead of 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, I think it was 17 months. Yeah.
That's amazing. Tell me too, just about, actually, let's back up for a second. We've talked about where you were. Let's talk about where you are now. What's something that you can find to celebrate today? Tell us what's happening in the business these days.
There's so much to celebrate. I was kind of sharing with you a little bit earlier how crazy it is to think about where we were and where we wanted to be, 2 years ago versus where we actually are now. Going from hoping and praying and crossing my fingers for 15 weddings a year to our average goal right now. We would love to get to 40 every year. That's our comfortable number. That's where we like our good point for us would be 40 a year. We finished out 2021 with 52 weddings. We already have for 2022, we have 44, and I have another contract out, so 45 for 2022. And we've already started booking for 2023. So it's crazy to think about, just the scale of where we were thinking, where my mind was thinking we would be 2 years ago to where we actually are now.
That's amazing. So do you have a yellow Corvette? Everybody wants.
I don't have a yellow Corvette. So not thinking that we would be doing this, 15, 18 months later. I have almost a 15-year-old son who's going to be driving very soon. And I don't want to pay insurance on a yellow Corvette with 15-year-old in my house. So my husband and I bought ourselves a Harley Davidson motorcycle instead.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
It's more fun because then it's just the two of us.
Yes. Hey, like I said before we started this interview, I love that you guys are up to so many things. And that's what I really want to talk about next is, are you working like 1 million hours a week right now? What is it like? And I want to be careful. So for anybody watching kind of at home, I'm one to not paint this picture that owning a wedding venue is easy and fun, no work, right? That's not the intention here. But I do want to shine a light on what is possible when you build your business to scale, right? So tell me about lifestyle stuff right now and what's, time and joy and freedom in life.
Yeah, I think it's finding a balance. Everybody has a different work-life balance that they need to find for themselves. And my kids are a little bit older, so they don't need me as much as, somebody who's got young kids at home. So I can spend a little more hours, at work. But I try and have set boundaries for myself. I used to be the venue owner who would answer my cell phone at 2 a.m. if I got a text message from a bride. And I'm not that way anymore. I have set boundaries for myself and for my brides and for my business. I pretty much won't answer my phone if it's after 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And that's only if it's somebody who needs a, right now answer kind of thing. I'm not working weekends hardly at all anymore. We just created our schedule with our staff for the first half of 2022. And just because it's, weddings that are either friends of ours or that we are highly involved in. I'm only working 3 weddings in the next 6 months. I'm sorry, next 8 months.
Wow.
And I have staff who are working our weddings for us. I have staff who come in and do most of the tours. I still like to do tours, so I'll still go in and do quite a few of them because I still like to be involved in that process. But really, I've taken that true venue owners role, where I'm not spending 90 to 100 hours a week at the venue doing all of everything anymore like I was.
Congratulations. I want to celebrate the fact that, like you just said, I really love this. So I'm doing this in my business, right? You get to choose when you build your business to scale. It doesn't mean that you don't ever work anymore, right? It just means that you get to spend your time and energy and effort on the things that bring you the most value. And when you have the most value in your life, then you get to share that value with your couples and use your time as wisely as possible. So that's amazing. That's amazing. I don't know, what trips do you have planned? You're always headed somewhere, Disney World or somewhere great. So with all this newfound time, right? What do you have on the schedule in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, anybody who knows me knows I'm a little bit of a Disney nerd. We go to Disney at least once a year, so we always have a Disney trip on the books. We go for our anniversary every year, which is in November, so that one's already booked for this next year. And then in a few weeks, I think actually middle of March, my kids will be gone for spring break, and so we're going to take a road trip up to the Pacific Northwest and drive through all the pretty country in Utah and Arizona and all that kind of fun stuff. So just take a fun road trip with just the two of us and go see some country that I've never seen before. And we always are every other weekend. It feels like we're taking off going somewhere on the motorcycle. So
good. It's really easy to get married to your business, but what I hear you say is you're married to your husband and you're getting to have a life outside of having a great business. And one thing I just want to just quickly touch on, because you have a great team, right? I know that about you, and I know you have become just a great leader of your business for that great team. But I think a myth that sometimes some venue owners have is that they're really busy. You said, I'm not working 90 or 100 hours a week in my business. I think a myth is that, I just need to hire the right unicorn employee. There's this one person who's going to come in and solve all the things for me. But if you didn't have a good, solid foundation to your business in terms of systems and processes and the way that you manage clients and serve clients, do you think adding a bunch of great people to the mix solves all the problems, or you have to have that base first?
No, I think you absolutely have to have the base first, because I've gone through having employees who didn't work out and staff who didn't work out. And it was because I didn't have a lot of those pieces and parts in place first. And so I had a huge turnover last year of my staff. And now I have staff who, for one, they're passionate about the tasks that the piece of the job that they're responsible for doing. And so they're happy with the work that they're doing. And that's hugely important to find somebody. I wouldn't put somebody who absolutely hated taking out trash and cleaning floors in that job. So I find somebody who's passionate about that kind of work and put them in that role. And then having the processes and the infrastructure on the back end of the business to support those roles.
Yeah, because I think that there's this, one of my favorite questions to ask venue owners is, if your business grows, what breaks? And so often it's you. Can you imagine if the way you were running your business at 3 weddings a year was the same way you were running your business at 45 or 50 weddings a year?
So we actually got to that point where I didn't have staff, and James and I were working every wedding, every weekend. I was working 7 days a week before I really, put in the time and the effort to hire staff and put those processes into place to scale the business that way. And it about killed us.
Yeah. Guys, and it doesn't have to be that way, right? Is the point. Right. And there's life. Angela is proof that there's life on the other side of it, right? So
very much so, yeah.
I love it. I've got notes over here, so I'm trying to keep myself on track because I think that we could talk all day. Hashtag live if you're watching this the first time we premiere it. Hashtag replay if you watch it later. So let me ask you this: why was the Venue Accelerator right for you? And what do you want to share with folks about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think to this point, I still get messages from venue owner friends across the country. And I'm always like, please go talk to Kristen. Please go talk to Kristen. Because I don't think without taking the class and learning the strategies that I learned in the class, I would not be where I'm at today for sure. And it's not just learning how to market the business. It's learning how to scale and structure the business to where I'm building my business around my ideal client, not my ideal client for the person down the road who has the venue. But I'm marketing to the brides that are going to make me happy. They're going to make my business happy. They're going to make my staff happy. And I think learning all of those little pieces to make our business successful for us. So it wasn't this blanket plan that's the same for everybody across the board. I learned the tactics to make my business successful for me in my market.
I love that, because I don't want you to be a replica of me. I don't want anybody watching to be a replica of me, right? I want to help you be the best version of you. And I think even just saying that is a little over markety, right? Like the best version of you. We hear that all the time, but it's really true. Like it's really hard when you're trying to be somebody else in your business. That's not sustainable, because one day you're going to wake up and not be in the mood to be playing a character, right? So how do you bring out what's best about you, best about your space, best about your approach, so that the right couples want to book and that you don't have to sell?
Yeah.
So, okay. I cannot tell you how many people I talk to who are like, Kristen, I've watched all your videos. I've watched all of your videos for the last year, last 2 years. And then they finally reach out and connect with us on a call. What would you say to the people who are kind of sitting on the fence?
Get out of your own way. I feel like I've said that a lot in our conversations, that in the start of my business, I stood in my own way because I had these preconceived notions about what this business was going to be and how it was supposed to run and how it was supposed to look. And I stood in my own way. I feel like you probably know too, the first couple of weeks of the class, I was like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. That's not how that's going to work for me, because I'm stubborn and hard-headed. And I think once I took a step back and I was like, okay, I did this for a reason. I took this class for a reason. I want my business to succeed. And I got out of my own way. Then I was able to put the tactics and the practices and the principles into practice in my business. And that's what launched us forward. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time. Like I said, I'm super decisive. I didn't spend a lot of time on the fence wondering if I should take the class or not. I just jumped in with both feet and did it. But then I kind of stood in my own way for the first few weeks. So I think it's just understanding that you can't stand in your own way. You've got to move and let the process work.
I always tell folks that this business rewards being decisive. And I think that's absolutely true in your results and what you've been able to do in your business. But, couples don't book 2 venues. Once they book another venue, they're not booking us. We don't get 2 chances at wedding days, right? We have to be able to make decisions in this business. And this business rewards being decisive. So yeah, I love it. You have an audience of venue owners and prospective venue owners. Is there anything you briefly want to share before we wrap for today?
So I know I hear this a lot in some of the venue groups or potential venue groups that I'm still a part of, where everybody thinks it's going to be this, fantasy world. Everything is so nice and easy. And I don't say this to scare people off, but it's not as easy as it looks when you're on the outside looking in before you start this business, but it's so worth it. It is hard work. It's still hard work, even though I'm not spending 100 hours a week right now at my business. It's still time intensive. There's still a lot of work to put in every day to keep my business being successful, because like you said, we don't get repeat clients. This is, you get one and then you have to work just as hard for the next one and the next one and the next one. So it's definitely not a business for somebody who's, like you said, not decisive, and somebody who I feel like the venues who have venue owners who are not as involved in the process, the day-to-day process, are not as successful. So still having a joy and a drive to be in this business is imperative.
Yeah. There's not a magic unicorn employee who's going to come in and be you, right? There's not some magic handshake Kristen's going to teach you that's going to be the super duper close. There's not, right? There's not, I think that's so well said. That's so well said. So awesome. I'm so proud of you, my friend. Thank you for coming in and sharing here with us today. For everybody, hashtag Angela Rocks in the comments. I think that would just be stellar for today. For anybody who has not booked a call with our team, you've heard me say it before, but here's your invitation today. KristenBinford.com/accelerator is how you see our team calendar. We do have calls for people who are in the business now. So you'll see that at that kristenbinford.com/accelerator. And we are launching the Venue Pathfinder, which is for prospective venue owners who are really serious about getting into this business. So either one of those are at kristenbinford.com/accelerator. Super grateful for you. Thank you for coming in here and sharing your story. We want to see, I think I told you, okay, I think I asked you in the last video, when you get a yellow Corvette, that you need to post it in the Facebook group. But I'm just going to say, how about a motorcycle picture in the comments of this?
I will do that for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Hashtag live if you watch this when we premiered it. Hashtag replay if you watch it later. And hashtag Angela rocks, because she does. So, hey, stay tuned for more videos, more bad mom jokes like that one, because all of my coaching clients know that is my love language. So, and my favorite people are the people who laugh at my bad jokes. So, all right, everybody. Thanks so much. We will see you in the next video. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you.